What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today we are reacting to some stuff. Okay, this one I had to mute because I don't want to get copyright. Basically, it's this girl, she's doing a reel and she's saying, okay, I'm going to eat as many cookies as I want so that they no longer have any power over me. And so the whole reel is her, she just got, I guess it's like crumble cookies, and she's just eating cookies all day, every day. And she's just detailing that experience. I think at the end, she finally says like, hey, I ate cookies for 10 days straight and I just ate them whenever I wanted to. And now I can have a cookie in the room with me and it no longer has power over me. I don't want to eat it. So yeah, I will leave that up there for you to watch. Like I said, I can't put the sound on because there's a song in the background. I thought that this was interesting because it does remind me of the strategy by certain anti-dietitian people where they're like, no, you just need to eat as much as you want of this stuff until it doesn't have power over you, or until you don't crave it anymore, because the whole root of your binge eating is because you are trying to restrict. I'm not saying that is not true in every case, but I know for a fact that this would not work for me. As I have said in many other videos, I just believe that some of us are wired differently. Food is an addiction. We all respond differently to addictive substances, okay? Some of us can have alcohol and drink alcohol moderately. Others cannot. Others cannot have even a tiny bit of alcohol. People generally accept this, okay? When it comes to food, though, I don't know what it is. People do not want to accept that. For some people, being addicted to food is real, okay? They just don't want to accept that food addiction is real. So I know from personal experience, this would not work for me, because the more I keep those kind of foods around me, I also have a cookie addiction. I love cookies. Okay, I don't ever get sick of them. I mean, I do to a point where I think that there's a point you get physically ill from eating too many cookies because you can't stop yourself, right? I've definitely been there. But if I allow myself to have cookies in my vicinity all the time, if I allow myself to have even just one cookie every day, that is going to keep me thinking about cookies. That is actually going to make me more powerless. The cookies will have more power over me if I allow it into my daily space. So I think her whole idea here, this whole method, is like, well, I'm just going to allow myself to eat them all the time. And then it won't feel like I'm trying to restrict myself from them. And then I can just have one cookie and call it a day. Maybe it will work for her. I don't know. I don't know what her past is. Maybe she had a restrictive ED. Maybe that's the right case for her. I don't know. Again, as someone who had the opposite end of the spectrum, where I never restricted myself, I had no restrictions, I got obese. And guess what? I was addicted to food and I just want to keep eating all the time. So yeah, this would not work for me. But the other thing I think is interesting is like, why is it so important for people to be able to moderate certain foods? Like, why is it, okay, that it is just totally unacceptable for some of these people to only eat a cookie once in a while? Because again, what I always advocate for is like, look, I tell you up front, no, I don't keep cookies in my house. I don't buy this stuff on a regular basis. I try to not eat as much processed food as possible. And that just makes me feel better. I eat more of a whole foods diet. I prefer it that way. I don't feel like I'm addicted to food. It makes me feel better, right? All that good stuff. But I do eat cookies sometimes. I do eat ice cream and French fries. I do indulge sometimes. I just try to not do it on a regular basis. I try to make it more few and far in between. And I feel like that's a perfectly healthy, reasonable way to go about life. I can still enjoy it, but I don't need to enjoy a cookie every single night. Again, I don't know why it isn't so important for some of these people, some of these anti-dietitians, to eat this stuff all the time or to make it more commonplace in their diet. Like, does any one of us need to have a cookie every single night of the week? You know what I mean? If you want to, fine. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. And if you can moderate, then hey, go for it. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but also like, why am I so toxic for saying that I don't want that? Why is it so bad to only have that occasionally? Again, when it comes to alcohol, people would have no problem with me saying, hey, I only drink alcohol on rare occasions. It's just not part of my daily routine, right? People would have no problem. And on the other hand, if someone was like, I allow myself at least one glass of wine per day, I would be like, I mean, okay, I don't know that that's the healthiest thing, right? I mean, at the end of the day, alcohol is still alcohol, even if you are drinking it moderately. Even in moderate amounts, it's not necessarily good for you. So, but you do you, right? I don't know. I think people would have a different response to that. I also think for sure people would have a different response to her if she were like drinking a bottle of wine every single day until wine doesn't have a hold on me. I don't know, a 10-day bender of drinking wine every single day, that's probably not very healthy, okay? As someone who did used to drink a lot, like, yeah, I can tell you that's not very healthy. I can tell you for a fact, right? So yeah, it is just so interesting though. People would have a problem with that, but people do not have a problem with her doing this, or people have a problem with me coming on here and saying like, moderation doesn't work. And I don't want to eat cookies every single day. It's once in a while. Oh, you're so toxic. You're so restrictive. Oh my God, this diet culture has gone too far. I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you want to eat cookies every day, you do it. I just don't feel the need to. Why is it that we have to feel the need to have this stuff in our diet all the time? Why is it so bad to say that, hey, on most days, the majority of my life, I eat healthy, whole foods that come from the earth. And occasionally I eat that stuff. I eat the overly processed, overly sugar stuff. Why is that so bad to say? Okay, this one is interesting because it's just what we were talking about. So again, I'm muting it, but life of a nutritionist who isn't sober curious. So basically, she's showing her life how she's healthy and she works out, but she also takes shots and drinks, a lot of wine and champagne on the weekends. And the caption reads, sober curious, which means people who have just, I guess, decided to go sober or stop drinking as much. Has become so popular this year. Now, before you bash me, I'm not against it. Quite the opposite, actually. It's incredible. More people are saying no to alcohol. We were not today years old when we realized alcohol isn't necessarily good for you. Here's what happens though. I wanted it more. I tell myself, go the next 30 days without drinking, or wait until the New Year's. And I'd end up going to dinner wishing I could have a drink with my friends. Not necessarily because I wanted one, but because I kept telling myself I couldn't have it. I save drinks for the weekend, make sure to eat before having any alcohol, have a water in between each drink, avoid sugary drinks, beer, wine, etc. Tequila, water, please. I'd rather use hidden calories for cake. Go based off how I feel rather than how much I can tell myself I'm allowed to have. It's not that you need to cut alcohol or anything out to be healthy. It's often actually you need to do the opposite and form a better relationship with it. Okay, so I think that this is interesting because this is alcohol we're talking about. And from my experience as someone who actually used to drink a lot, and I've been honest with you guys, I drank too much, and drinking was a real regular part of my life, and I did not feel good from it. I was not healthy. I was not a healthy drunk. I don't know that anyone could be a healthy drunk, really. I worked out, but I was not my healthiest mentally or physically. And now look, I know that for sure there is a way that you can incorporate alcohol into your life and have it not be as unhealthy. For example, now, I'm not sober. I still do drink, but it is more rare. It is more on occasion because I just have changed my habits so drastically. So I found this interesting because the way she is talking, it actually kind of sounds like someone who may have more of a problem with alcohol than they realize. And I can speak from experience. Look, I think just like with food addiction, with alcohol addiction, with any kind of addiction, I think that there are different levels. So no, even though I drank a lot, was I the kind of person, putting vodka in my coffee and going on, benders? No, but I think even then, drinking wine every night, even in the evening, when it becomes a habit, I think it's just not healthy. And I think the minute that, you realize, it's actually kind of hard for me to not have alcohol for 30 days. I think that's when you kind of realize it's a problem. And I think that could be a problem with anything, whether it's cookies or coffee. Although I will not give up my coffee. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know. Coffee actually is pretty good for you besides caffeine. Anyway, but it's like the talk or the tone she's trying to use here is like, you have to have a healthy relationship with alcohol. I don't know that that's good advice. I think that there are probably, again, plenty of people who that's not possible for them. Okay. Again, everyone has different levels. So yeah, it may be easier for her to, I only drink alcohol on the weekends. Or, I can do it in moderation. That's awesome. Not everyone can though. I don't think that that is great advice to tell someone who is trying to recover from alcoholism, for some people, that's just not how it works. They have that one drink and then they just want more. Okay. They allow it to be a daily part of their life. And then it just gets worse and worse. It snowballs. Okay. Again, for someone like her, it might work. I think another interesting thing she said was, I don't think about like how much I'm allowed to have. I just go by how I feel. Again, I don't know that that's a healthy thing to say about alcohol. For other things, maybe. But again, for some, alcohol, I think for anyone, I know for sure, like after I have 1 or 2 glasses, like my mind thinks that I want more because it's like, this is fun. Let's just keep going, right? But my body knows for sure it doesn't because I never feel good after drinking. So I think that was a weird thing to say. Again, I'm not saying that you cannot lead a healthy life and that you need to cut alcohol out altogether. I certainly haven't. I still drink on occasion. I admit it's fun, right? It is fun. But I also admit I don't feel my best the day after I drink. So it is something that now is just more, like it's few and far in between. It's more rare. But I also understand that for some people, that might not even be possible for them. Okay. So again, when it comes to food and stuff too, for some people, you may be able to do that. You may be able to moderate certain foods and you may be able to eat everything in moderation every day. Not everyone can do that, okay? I think everyone is just a little bit different. Again, the last thing she says here, it's like, it's not that you need to cut alcohol or anything out to be healthy. It's often you actually need to do the opposite and form a better relationship with it. I don't know. I think, again, people would say this about food and not bat an eye. I would say it a little bit differently because I also know the addictive power of food. I don't see why you need to have this stuff in your life. There are people who do not drink, who don't even think about drinking. Like they don't need to think about, I need to go 30 days without drinking. They just don't do it. Okay. And then the same with like food. Okay. Like, people tell you just need to, allow that stuff into your diet, eat it in moderation. But why? Why? If I just don't think about cookies all the time. I don't need to think about them. I don't need to eat them. Why? If I'm perfectly happy and healthy, why do I just need to form a better relationship with cookies? I don't understand. It's not going to make or break my life. You know what I mean? So I almost kind of feel like people like this maybe have the real problem with these foods. Maybe they have the real unhealthy relationship. Again, I think that's a really weird thing to say about alcohol specifically because it has ruined so many lives. Okay. Because it is, I think probably way more highly addictive than food. I mean, maybe not. I don't know, but there are definitely people who ruin their lives more because of alcohol than eating. But I don't know. Half the population is obese. So I don't know. Like it's a different thing, right? I don't know. I think that's a weird thing to say about alcohol. I think at the end of the day, no amount of alcohol is actually good for you. Again, I'm not saying, you need to cut it out altogether. I think that alcohol can be fun, but at the end of the day, it's just like eating a candy bar or whatever. You should eat it and have fun, but I'm not going to lie to you and say that it's the best thing for you. It's not. Again, I drink alcohol too, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that like it's a healthy thing to do and I recommend it for everyone. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of an interesting take. How the people who claim I can't gain weight eat their food. Oops. Okay, and basically it shows him making his food. Okay, he's adding all this stuff. He's just putting all this time and effort into it. Again, I'm narrating for those of you who are listening because I can't. It's just playing music anyway. He's not talking. Okay, and he's putting his napkin in. He's about to eat. He's about to take a bite. He's taking a long time to get there. He's blowing it off. Okay. And then it shows him taking the tiniest bite ever, the tiniest bite. And then he's full. And then he's full. Yeah. I mean, this is so true. No one is naturally skinny. People just naturally have a lower appetite. Okay, these are the people who say, I can't gain weight. I don't know. I do eat, I eat whatever I want. Trust me. Let me do a soul transference with your body one day. If you want to gain weight, I can help you gain weight. All right. You're not eating enough. Just like I would tell people who are fat and like, I don't know. I don't know why I can't lose weight because you're eating too much. Oh, you're skinny. It's so hard being skinny. I just can't gain weight no matter what. You're not eating enough. Okay. That's all there is to it. Let me ask you something. How much did Florence Nightingale eat when she, what was Mary Curie's, what? Okay, I can't read it that fast. Basically, what she is saying is, why are you worried about your weight when there's all these amazing women in history that like, we don't even think about their weight, and you shouldn't think about your weight either because you're more than your weight. Okay. And then it just shows her eating and drinking all kinds of food. Okay, look, let's see what the caption says. Not one of history's great women is remembered for her waistline. They're remembered for what they changed and for the impact they had, not for how they looked. The future won't be shaped by how we look. We have to stop treating our appearance as our number one priority. Okay. Whenever I see these types of posts, like these body positivity posts, it's not that I disagree with the message. It's not that I think that what she is saying is not right. I think it is probably especially important for people maybe who have suffered with severe restrictive EDs. At the same time, though, I feel like though these posts and these people who ascribe to this will then also go and talk about how, okay, those of us who want to be at a certain weight, who do care about our looks, who like to work out and eat healthy, again, that we're toxic, or there's something wrong with that. Look, I agree. No, your looks are not everything, but they are important. I don't know why we have to deny that. And I also just think that, look, I mean, it's always so funny because it'll be these body positive people that, okay, maybe they're not the skinniest, but they also they clearly wear makeup. They care about fashion. They care about their hair. They do care about their appearance. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's always whenever it comes to your weight though, your diet, you're not allowed to talk about that. You're not allowed to be proud of that. And I also just have to say it's just that everyone has their own different experience. I mean, look, I think that's great if she can go and eat all that stuff. And, I don't know what she is, but she's healthy, normal weight. Okay. That's awesome. Again, like we just talked about in the previous reactions, not everyone can do that and moderate as well. It is a lot more detrimental for other people. So no, I'm not going to just allow myself to eat all of that if it means I'm going to become obese again, because I didn't like being obese. And no one's going to remember me for anything if I am not my happiest, healthiest self, because I won't be able to pursue everything I want to pursue. Okay. That's just me personally. So yeah, for me, looking my best and feeling my best is important. For me, being healthy is important. I don't know, maybe, looking your best shouldn't be your number one priority above all else. But I do think that if it makes you more confident and it just allows you to live a happier, healthier life, then it's pretty important. And I don't think that you should be shamed for that. Okay. She goes, normalizing sharing meals until everyone's learned that our portion sizes are too big. And that's why we're all overweight. And then it just shows her sharing a big burger meal with her husband or whoever. Yeah. I mean, I think that that's true. I mean, I don't know what the comments say. Let's see. She goes, we have to stop pretending that our portion sizes are normal. They're not. They're massive. And they're one of the biggest reasons so many of us are struggling with weight, bloating, fatigue, and hormone chaos. Sharing meals isn't weird. It's smart. It's how your body used to feel full before it got trained to think full meant stuffed and sleepy. Normalize splitting the entree. Normalize leaving food on the plate. Normalize eating until satisfied, not until it hurts. We don't need to clean our plate. We need to start listening to our hormones again. Okay. And then she goes about resetting hormone hungers or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad that is not just common sense. Portion sizes are huge. We need less food than we really think we do. Okay, that is the reality. Our perception of what a normal portion size is so skewed, okay? And we are so used to eating so much all the time and eating all throughout the day that we don't even realize that it's not normal. And you could look at that. That's a massive portion. Even taking half of that, that is plenty of food. That is plenty of food for lunchtime, for dinner time, for one person alone. But I think our perceptions have gotten so skewed. So, I don't know. I wonder if she's gotten any toxic comments for that. Probably not, because you'd think that wouldn't be that controversial, but let's see. Okay, absolutely not. My meals at home are one thing, but when we go out for a treat meal or whatever, it's totally okay to have a bigger portion. It's a treat. No way am I splitting my steak. I mean, I don't know. Yes and no. I mean, if you are eating healthy most of the time and eating normal portions most of the time, for sure, it's okay to indulge a little bit. But in general, okay, I don't think we should be normalizing overeating all the time. I agree with that. I see that, a lot when I go with my fiance and we share things. We always amazed at how full we are after sharing one meal. We're always amazed at how big the portions really are. Even if we're really hungry at first, and I'm not gonna lie, there have been some times where I'm I don't know if we should share because I'm kind of hungry. But then lo and behold, the food comes. By the time you have the appetizers, you split that and you split the meal, you're like, that was more than enough. That was more than enough. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Someone goes almond mom vibes. My God, do we not see her portion there? That's a massive burger. Okay. And French fries. How is that almond mom? She's eating everything in moderation, like they all preach. I swear to God, people, we're all overweight. Who's we? Half the United States is overweight. No, not even overweight, obese. That's who. Oh my God, people. I'm getting angry for this woman. Anyway, okay. So interesting that people are even like disputing this, probably because she's skinny. I don't know. Isn't that not what like all these anti-dietitians preach though, is like eating what you want in moderation? It's just, it depends on who's the messenger, right? Okay. Unfortunately, a calorie deficit does work. Okay. And it shows a woman, she's overweight. Oh, and then she lost a lot of weight. Oh, minus 20. Oh, it's only 20 pounds. Oh, 200 pounds. Oh, okay. I was like, damn. Wow. That's impressive. 200 pounds. Good for her. Unfortunately, a calorie deficit does work. So I see a lot of these posts where it's like, unfortunately, a calorie deficit does work. Unfortunately, walking 10,000 steps a day and eating healthy and sleeping does work. I guess my question is, again, because I'm coming from a very practical, pragmatic standpoint here, and I grew up in a different time era. Did you ever really believe that a calorie deficit didn't work? I don't know. I don't understand these people who say that it doesn't work. That is exactly what weight loss is. People who are saying, oh, I didn't do a calorie deficit to lose weight. I did XYZ. You might have done XYZ, but you lost the weight because you were in a calorie deficit. There's so many ways to go about being in a calorie deficit, okay? You can work out more, you can eat less, you can eat all carb, all protein. At the end of the day, if you lost fat, if you lost weight, it is because you were in a calorie deficit, because that is what happens. That is how it has to happen for you to lose weight. You have to take in less energy than you are burning, okay? That's how it works. That's how you burn fat. So yeah, I always find these posts interesting because it's like, oh my gosh, my mind is blown. Who knew that just eating less calories that I would lose the weight? I think it's like so silly with like these people who are Ozempic and they talk about, oh, I did everything before. This is my only option. And this is how it finally worked for me. Well, I mean, clearly you weren't doing the right things before, because Ozempic just makes you eat less. You have less calories. That's why you lost the weight. So yeah, it always blows my mind that these people, that their minds are blown by a calorie deficit working. It's like, I think they have demonized like counting calories and demonized this calorie deficit thing for being toxic. When at the end of the day, again, that's how you lose the weight. It's what it always comes down to. You can do as many different methods as you want. You don't have to count calories. That's fine. But you still have to eat in a calorie deficit, whether you track it or not.
I'm full. Yeah, but it's a burger and tater tots. You can't just stop.
Trust me, it is way more comfortable for me to save this and eat it a few hours later than to force myself to finish it now and get to this like really uncomfortable level of fullness.
Wow, you are being so good eating that. Are you on a diet?
Nope, it just sounded good.
Oh, come on. No one wants to actually eat that unless they're dieting.
Well, it's only diet food if you're on a diet, and I'm not on a diet, so for me, it's just food. Revolutionary stuff, I know.
Don't forget, we have dinner tonight.
It's 9 a.m., Brenda.
I just mean it's gonna be a big meal later.
I know. I'm just not fueled by the future memory of dinner that's going to occur in 9 hours. So I need to eat something now so that I can go to dinner arriving pleasant and not like super hangry and irritable.
Are you seriously eating that? I could never. I'd feel so guilty.
Yeah, guilt doesn't taste great, but yes, I am seriously eating it, and shockingly, I'm surviving.
I'm getting ice cream. Come get some with me.
No thanks, I actually don't want any right now.
Ugh, I can't get it if you don't. I can't eat a bad food by myself.
Hey, food isn't good or bad, and it's okay for you to eat ice cream even if I don't want to have any ice cream or cravings. And when we decide to eat, don't have to always perfectly line up. You don't ever have to justify you eating.
Wait, you are not gonna finish that?
Okay, so she is one of those, diet culture rebel, who I usually don't agree with these people because they have silly takes. But this one I thought that it was pretty good. I mean, I think, I don't disagree with this whole, have a healthy relationship with food, eat what you want if it works for you. I think everything that she described there was actually, was really positive. And again, just seems like it should be common sense, that, yeah, she ate half her food and then she stopped when she was full. I think that's what we all should be doing, right? And I wish that were easier here for all of us to do. The only reason I think that, for example, for me, maybe some of us tend to stay away from those types of foods is because we find it harder to just stop after eating half of it, right? But then like the next scene where it showed her eating the salad and someone's like, oh, are you in a diet? And she's like, no, this is just what I feel like eating right now. Again, I think that's also a really healthy approach. And just in our thinking in general, why is it when someone is eating healthy, they are on a diet, that they are just obsessed with their looks, that they're just trying to be skinny? I don't know. Why can't we just eat healthy and have that not be a thing? I think that we should encourage eating healthy. Like, why does it have to mean we're on a diet? Maybe it's just how we feel. I think that we all should naturally crave those things. So yeah, I think everything she said here was pretty spot on and pretty healthy.
Cody, I've watched a lot of your stuff, and one of your only pieces of advice that I personally don't like is I don't want to wear makeup. I've never been into makeup, and it also just feels unfair how ladies wearing makeup makes us more money, doesn't matter on our level of attractiveness. So I want your thoughts on that.
I want to win. My husband and I have a saying, which is, do you want to be right or do you want to win? And guess what? I want to win. So if I got to paint my face slightly in order to make 30% more money, clown me up.
If I could do that, I would do it right now. Like, I'm about the money.
Okay, so I that's Cody Sanchez. I don't know if you guys follow her. I think she's fun. She's more about like entrepreneurial stuff, but that is something she's talked about before. It's like how women, on average, stats show women who wear makeup, they make 30% more money. Okay, women who are thinner make more money. And look, like I get what this other woman is saying. Like, I don't want to wear makeup. I don't want to do this. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, right? You don't have to be skinny. You don't have to wear makeup. You don't have to be conventionally attractive if that's not what you want to do. Okay. It's free will. That being said, you can't deny that certain circumstances exist. We can't deny that looks do matter. They do. It is what it is, whether it's right or wrong. It matters. Okay. Yeah. I don't even know really like what the point is really of that woman asking her this question. Cause it's not like Cody makes the rules. Like, she's just saying like, hey, that's the way of the world. I want to win. I want to be more successful. So if I have to play the game, I am. And I know you could say, well, we have to change the game. We have to rebel. Again, you're welcome to do that. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. Again, personally though, I like wearing makeup. Again, personally, I like being healthy. I like working out. I like being thinner. That is also just my personal preference. So if you don't want to do that though, you don't have to. But at the end of the day, does it mean that you might not make as much money, that you won't be as successful? I don't know. There are always exceptions, and I don't know how much, why the statistic is that women who wear makeup make more money. Is it because other people perceive them as being more attractive and want to help them more? Maybe. Or is it because women who wear more makeup feel better about themselves and therefore like stand up for themselves more and take more chances? I don't know. It's probably a mixture of both. What can you really say to that? I don't know. Either do it or don't. Don't want to be skinny, don't be skinny. I don't have to tell you. But I definitely, when it comes to dating, it's like, well, I don't want to wear makeup or look conventionally attractive at all. And I want to find a partner. I want this partner who looks like this. And then when he comes and he's like, I don't know, I don't find you attractive. I don't know. Either you can change and become more attractive to that person or not, wait for someone else who loves you the way you are. That's fine. They're both fine, but it's like, I don't know. You can't force someone to find you attractive and get mad at them because they don't. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's how I feel.
Being ugly is countercultural.
Oh, here we go.
If you choose to be ugly, then you also have to accept the consequences that come with that. For whatever reason, people have decided to get on the internet and talk about how they are ugly, and because they are ugly, they get treated this way and that way. Now, there is a lot of value in understanding exactly where you stand. I think more people need to do this with intelligence and understanding, you know what, I am stupid. I am a little bit dumber than most people. And as a result, this is how that impacts my life, right? So I'm all on board for people also acknowledging that I am not the most attractive person in the world, and therefore this, and this. But there is a huge difference between people who are really just ugly. Like, you are hard to look at, nothing can be done for you. and people who have willingly decided to go against what is considered conventional attractiveness. A lot of people learned what they looked like when they were very young. So you were either bullied because you were ugly or funny looking, or you were praised because you were attractive. And a lot of people, as a trauma response, because they grow up believing that they are ugly, they decide, well, I'm going to be ugly on purpose. So when somebody tells me I'm ugly, it doesn't hurt my feelings as much. For example, if you are a woman and you decide, I'm just going to become humongous, I'm going to shave my head, I'm going to grow out all my armpit hair, and all these things that you know are complete opposite of what people deem conventionally attractive, you need to own that. And you need to own that people are going to treat you a certain way because you look like that. You could look better. You actually could do a long list of things. And every time people post these videos, people are in the comments saying, well, you could do this and you could do this. And they're like, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. If you don't want to do it, then you can't complain about how people treat you. I'm sorry. Everybody likes to live in this fantasy world of what people should do and how things should work. It is never going to happen. Humans are social creatures. Even just from a biological standpoint, humans like things that are more attractive because that means that you probably have better genetics or whatever the case may be. You, as a deliberately ugly person, you are never going to get treated the same as somebody who is going out of their way to look more attractive. I am sorry, to the really ugly, I mean, there is just beyond repair. There's nothing that can be done for you. I'm so sorry to you people. But for the rest of you, get a grip. Go to therapy. If you want people to treat you better, treat yourself better first. Being ugly.
Okay, that was an interesting take, but I have to say I agree with him. I think that kind of ties into what I was just saying and ties into what I've said in previous videos. Look, I think that being beautiful is a choice. I think that everyone can be beautiful, okay? I think that we all possess naturally just certain traits that make us beautiful, but also beauty is a choice, okay? Even freaking supermodels and celebrities, like, yes, they may, don't get me wrong, some people are more naturally beautiful. They have features that are considered more conventionally attractive for sure. A lot of it's natural. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry, you take any supermodel, you add on 60 pounds to her frame, you take away her hair extensions, you take away the makeup and the skincare, all the things that make her, really attractive, and she'll look more normal, okay? Maybe because she's a supermodel, she's not gonna look ugly, but she'll look more just average, normal, okay? I think the same thing can be said about taking an average person, guy or girl, give them a nice haircut, put some makeup on their face, give them in really good shape, and you will be conventionally attractive. You will be 1,000 times better than you were before. So, and like he's saying here, like, right or wrong, it's just kind of the way of the world. Like, anyone can be attractive if they want to be. Again, you don't have to be. I am not saying everyone needs to do anything to change their appearance if you don't want to. That's totally fine. I don't think that people, or that you deserve to treat someone bad because they are not conventionally attractive. For sure, okay? I'm not saying that at all. But I think that, again, when it comes to, I think, dating is a big thing. I think you see both men and women complaining about this. Like, oh, everyone's so shallow because, they only want like Instagram models and, they're not into me because, they only want really pretty people. And it's like, well, I think most people, number one, can't help what they like. Yeah, we're going to be attracted to more attractive people. But a lot of these people who are saying this and complaining about people being so vain and the world being so cruel, they are people who they're not ugly. They just have not put any effort into their appearance whatsoever. So to me, I'm just like, look, if you want to be seen as more attractive, then just, put some work into it, right? And if you don't want to put any work to it, that's fine. But then, yeah, stop complaining that, you can't get the girl who looks like an Instagram model when, you are this, overweight little goblin or something, right? I don't know what to tell you. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's the truth. Same with women, okay? You want the guy that looks like the GQ model, but you don't look like the equivalent of a female GQ model. Like, what do you expect? You know what I mean? And then you want to get mad that he doesn't find you attractive, or I don't know what to tell you. Everyone has a right to their own preferences. And, I think too, how you take care of yourself really does convey more about your personality. Whether it's true or not, it's just how people see it. So for example, if you show up you want to like work as a hostess for a really nice restaurant that has really high standards, and you show up and you're in sweatpants and you have no makeup on and your hair is messy, and you want the job, you're probably not going to get the job because they're going to be like, look, we need to exude elegance and sophistication and professionalism. You showed up in sweatpants. It's clear that you put no effort into your appearance, so we're going to assume that your standards are very low. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's the way of the world. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening. If you have made it this far, if you are not already subscribed, then go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. For those of you who are new here, my name is Whitney Holcomb. I am author of the book 1 Year, 100 Pounds. My book is about my weight loss journey, how I lost 100 pounds at 14 years old in 1 year, all on my own. It is both how I did it, but it's also a tough love guide for how you can lose weight too. I also have my guided weight loss journals, which are based off of the same journaling method that I used to lose 100 pounds in 1 year on my own at 14. And it is the same journaling method I use today. So if you want to check those out, I will leave the links in the description below. But yeah, let me know your thoughts below, and I will see you guys next time.